Close your eyes and picture a 1960s afternoon. The scratch of a pencil on paper, the faint hum of a radio playing Elvis, and the clickety-clack of a neighbor's typewriter spilling through an open window. Life back then was hands-on, full of objects you could touch, twist, or crank. Each one a small adventure in a world without endless screens. Technology rolled in like a quiet tide, bringing ease but washing away these everyday treasures. Some sparked joy, others frustration, but all were woven into the rhythm of the 60s. Today we're rummaging through a 1960s memory box to rediscover 10 things that vanished as tech reshaped our lives. Let's see which ones still hum in your heart. Step into a 1960s office, where teletypewriters banged out messages like a mechanical drumline. These hulking machines, with their clattering keys and curling paper rolls, sent urgent memos across cities, their chatter filling banks and newsrooms. You'd tear off a printout, ink smudging your fingers, and race it to a waiting desk. By the 1970s and 80s, fax machines took over, their screeching modems outpacing the old telex. Later, email in the 90s sealed their fate, turning those noisy giants into museum pieces. Every car held a folded road map, stuffed in the glove box like a paper passport. You'd unfurl it across the dashboard, its maze of highways promising adventure, or arguments over a wrong turn. Refolding it was a test of patience, creases never quite aligning. GPS, sleek by the 2000s, made navigation a voice in your ear, but it lacks the thrill of charting your course with a fingertip. Eight-track tapes were the heartbeat of 1960s music. Slide one into your car's player, and the Beach Boys or Aretha Franklin filled the air with a satisfying ka-chunk. Tracks switched abruptly, sometimes mid-chorus, and tapes jammed if you weren't lucky. They were your late-night drive, your summer soundtrack. By the 80s, cassettes and CDs took over, and streaming later buried them, but no app matches the soul of an 8-track's warm hiss. Carbon copy paper was a desk's quiet hero. Slip a blue sheet under your receipt, press hard, and a duplicate appeared, smudging your fingers with inky proof. From corner stores to Dad's home office, it was the 60s way to keep records. Photocopiers in the 70s and digital files in the 90s wiped it out, leaving those blue-stained fingertips a distant memory. TV dials ruled 1960s living rooms, their chunky clicks a nightly ceremony. Spin through a dozen channels, ABC, CBS, or a snowy local station, and hear the clunk echo through the house. Kids argued over who got to turn it, and a broken knob meant grabbing pliers. Remote controls, common by the 80s, made surfing silent, but they'll never match the dial's stubborn charm. Rotary phones sat heavy in every kitchen, their dials humming with each spin. You'd count the clicks of each number, stretch the curly cord across the room, or slam the handset for a dramatic goodbye. They forced you to memorize numbers and savor the wait. Push-button phones in the 80s and smartphones in the 2000s turned calls into taps, but no screen has the weight of that old receiver. Library card catalogs were a 1960s scholar's map. Rows of wooden drawers, polished by years of hands, held cards that whispered where books hid. You'd flip through, pencil scratching a Dewey number, then hunt the stacks. Digital catalogs in the 90s swapped wood for screens, efficient but missing the quiet thrill of the chase. Home movie projectors turned evenings into magic. Dad would thread Super 8 film, the machine's whir filling the room as grainy vacation scenes flickered on a bedsheet screen. Kids laughed at wobbly frames or a blurry dog chasing its tail. Camcorders in the 80s and smartphone videos made filming simple, but they lacked the projector's warm, nostalgic glow. Checkbooks were the pulse of 1960s finances. You'd scribble checks for groceries or a new bike, each carbon slip a record of your life. Balancing the register was a chore, but it kept you grounded. Digital payments, cards, apps surged in the 2000s, leaving checkbooks in dusty drawers replaced by a quick tap. Film cameras captured the 60s in snapshots you couldn't preview. Load a Kodak roll, frame 24 shots, and wait days for prints at the drugstore. A blurry photo was a loss, but a perfect one. A kid's grin, a sunset, was treasure. Digital cameras in the 2000s made every shot instant, but those faded prints, stuffed in albums, hold a warmth no pixel can match. These 1960s relics weren't flawless, but they made life louder, messier, and somehow richer. The clatter of a teletypewriter, the creak of a map, the click of a camera shutter, they were moments you felt in your bones. Technology moved us forward, but left these treasures behind. Which one lives in your memory? The spin of a phone dial? The flicker of a projector's light? Share your story in the comments. Let's weave a tapestry of the analog days we loved. And if this video stirred a spark, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still feels the weight of a checkbook's pen. Some memories are too precious to fade.